Hello. See, you're back. You're back for more. Can't stay away because you're addicted to the countdown of our top 100 board games of all time. This is number 30 down to number 21, and we are rapidly approaching that part of the cigarette where they secretly put the heroin. So don't overdose. Buy yourself a chicken korma instead, and then put on your smoking jacket slippers and marvel at these 10 super duper board games.
Bollocks!
So number 30 is a game designed by Jamie Stegmaier. It is Scythe. You have to excuse me, I am recovering from a bout of man flu, so forgive me if I sound like a Barry White tribute act. Scythe is an action selection worker placement type of game. In Scythe you'll be taking control of a faction and you will be trying to gather resources that will allow you to take actions on your main player board. The thing that makes Scythe a little bit special is that you can draw encounter cards where you'll be able to choose different options. That will give you a massive boon depending on how ruthless you are. Scythe took the world by storm. It was funded by Kickstarter. It's just a shame that really Stonemaier games haven't really hit the heights of this type of thing since. So maybe we'll see Scythe 2 in the future, maybe not. But at the moment, I'll take this over a lot of the other shit that he's released, right? So number 29 on this list is a real-time game called Escape Curse of the Temple. In this game, you'll be entering a temple, trying to get as many jewels as you possibly can, and then trying to get out before you die in a rockfall. Escape Curse of the Temple is played along to a soundtrack, and the soundtrack will tell you when different events occur in the game. So when you hear a certain trigger on the soundtrack, you'll all have to go back to a certain point in the labyrinth, and then this will happen about 3 times, and then you'll have to get out before you die, right? My wife will not play this game because she says it induces a sort of a heart attack feeling. But if you like these types of high energy, high octane games that will increase your heart rate to around about 180 beats per minute, then Escape Curse of the Temple is probably a game that you want to check out, right? So number 28 on our list of our top 100 board games of all time is a game about making wine. No, it's not Vinos, but it is the other one. It's Viticulture, right? This is a bog standard worker placement game. It is actually quite simple. You will be moving through the 4 seasons of the year and you'll be taking different actions that will allow you to grow grapes, harvest the grapes, and then turn those grapes into wine to the rich bourgeoisie bastards that have more money than I have pubes. I think one of the draws of Viticulture is its simplicity. You're going to be placing your workers out on the board, taking actions, but it seems to expand in your head and actually does feel like you're actually producing something. You know, you're getting an engine going and you do feel like you are moving through several years and getting a product at the end, right? So it's an enormously satisfying experience. Like we said, it's easy to teach, easy to learn, and it's just a fantastic worker placement game here. Number 27 on this list is a hidden traitor game that has sort of zombies as a secondary thing, even though it's presented as being a zombie game. It is Dead of Winter. In Dead of Winter, you're a member of a colony that is living hand to mouth after a said zombie apocalypse. You'll be trying to fulfill objectives. You'll be risking your life, leaving the compound to go and get resources from nearby locations, right? All the while, you've got to be mindful that there may or may not be a hidden traitor working against you in your group. This game can be a little bit cutthroat. There is a die rolling mechanism in this where you just have insta-death. It's not much fun, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be eliminated from the game, right? And there's a massive wealth of characters in this game, yeah? You've even got Bubbles, the monkey, and like a circus dog in there, right? If you are into bestiality, which I'm not. The one thing that makes this game special is the introduction of crossroad cards. Every round, someone will be drawing a crossroads card and you'll be given this agonizing decision to make. You might have to decide to make soup out of babies, or you might have to take a dump in somebody's shoes. Yeah, I know, first world problems, but Dead of Winter is a fantastic hidden traitor game where the zombies are sort of like a secondary worry because you've really got to be worrying about those sneaky fuckers stealing your breakfast bar. Number 26 on this list is Stefan Feld's best game, I think. It's Castles of Burgundy. This game has absolutely no theme. There is a sort of a king bloke looking out of a window on the cover of R1 anyway. I think it's got reprinted in like a deluxe edition or something. But in Castles of Burgundy, you'll be rolling a couple of dice. You'll be taking actions based on those die rolls. There's all sorts of ways to mitigate the die rolls and to change the numbers that you get on the die. But trying to expand your realm with extra castles and shit and sheep and all that sort of stuff. But trying to export goods to the faraway markets, you know, the usual type of stuff, right? But Castles of Burgundy is a themeless classic Euro game that we love quite a lot. There's just so many different options, so many different ways to score points. And the game never ever gets boring, right? I know it doesn't sound like it, but Castles of Burgundy is a super game, right? So number 25 on this list is a game that was supposed to replace Arkham Horror and remove a lot of the bloat of that game, yeah? But it ended up being just as bloated as Arkham Horror, if not more bloated than that game, yeah? But it's Eldritch Horror. In Eldritch Horror, you'll be doing more or less the same thing as in Arkham Horror. You'll be trying to close gates to stop the ancient ones from appearing and destroying the world. The only difference with this one is rather than going around Arkham as a city or a town or whatever, you'll be wandering around the actual world, visiting different locations, fighting monsters, having encounters. Basically, it's more or less the same game as Arkham Horror, but it takes place on a macrocosmic stage rather than a microcosmic stage, right? It's still unfair, it's still random, but there's something about the way this game works. They started to strip out a lot of the shit of Arkham Horror, and then we got invested in it, and then they started adding a load of the bloat back in, right? So it's a better game than Arkham Horror, but eventually it's turned into more or less the same game, yeah? But we still enjoy it. There's a wealth of content for this one, and you're never going to run out of things to do, and we haven't, even though we played it a billion times, we still haven't seen everything it's got to offer, and for that reason it's number 25 on this list, right? Number 24 on this list is a deck building game. Well, probably one of the very few deck building games that's made it onto this list, because to be honest with you, I don't really enjoy deck building games that much. But this is Dune Imperium. This is actually a cross between a worker placement game and a deck building game. The thing that I like about this is that the cards that you don't use will still be utilised in a useful way. So you've got to be careful about which cards you use in your deck to augment your actions and which cards you use later to buy more cards, right? I'm not really a fan of the Dune theme. This game could have been based on anything. And to be honest with you, the game does look like complete and utter dog shit, but it's the way that the worker placement mechanisms fuse with the deck building mechanisms that make this game really, really special for me. And that is saying something, because deck building isn't something that I'm going to have a wank over anytime soon, right? Number 23. Fucking hell, I've got to keep track of this shit. Number 23 on this list is a tower defense game called Carnival Zombie. This has been recently reprinted as a second edition, but to be honest with you, I couldn't really see much apart from a few main character miniatures that's any different from the first edition, right? But in this game, you will be taking on the role of one of 6 different characters, and you'll be trying to fend off the hordes of zombies. And then in the second portion of the game, you'll be trying to go to different locations in Venice, trying to escape. Essentially, this is Left 4 Dead, the board game. If that game had been turned into a board game, this would be it, right? Okay, the monsters are just represented by cubes, but there's loads and loads of different weapons in this game. There's loads of different scenarios. You might be escaping by blimp airship. You might be escaping over a bridge. And thematically, it is an absolutely fantastic game. Yeah, it's unusual and it's a one-of-a-kind experience. So if you haven't played Carnival Zombie, then don't be a twat all your life, right? Number 22 on this list is a game that some people say is a natural competitor to Twilight Imperium 4th edition. It's Eclipse, right? We're not talking about the second edition or the Dawn for a New Galaxy or whatever. We're talking about the first edition here, right? In Eclipse, you'll be taking discs off of your player board to take actions, right? You'll be building ships. You'll be moving ships around different planetary systems. You'll be exploring the galaxy. You'll be harvesting resources from planets that you occupy, and you'll be taking on your opponents to get victory points, yeah? This game was reportedly playable in 2 hours. We've never, ever experienced that length of play. It always goes on for about 4 hours. But the amount of expansions for this, the extra content that you can get for the first edition, means that we're not going to be getting rid of it anytime soon. We're not going to be trading it in for the second edition, even though I could hear some people saying, well, the second edition's got all the stuff that's in the first edition. I don't care. What's the point? We've already got the first edition, haven't we? Fight me. So, number 21 on this list is a game that I didn't think I would like. I avoided it for quite a while because I already had the first iteration of this game. This game is Brass Birmingham. We had the original brown version, Brass, for ages. We really, really enjoyed it. It was a fantastic game. But we heard that Brass Birmingham blew it away. Didn't really believe it. Played Brass Birmingham, and yes, it blew the original Brass out of the water. In this game, you'll be using canals and then later railways to transport goods around a map of North England filled with a bunch of northern monkeys. No offence, northern monkeys. And you'll do this by expanding your network or using other people's networks, right? I'm not really sure why this game appeals to me so much because, one, it's really, really grim up north. I can't stand the north of England, yeah? It's just cold, it's bleak. and it's filled with monkeys. But yeah, this builds on the brain-burning choices of the original Brass Lancashire, which is what they called it, and it just makes the game better. The production quality is off the charts, and I just can't stop playing Brass Birmingham. It's absolutely super. So there you go, that concludes the next part of our top 100 board games of all time. Apologies, Northern friends, I didn't mean to insult you or anything like that. It was a joke, yeah, so don't take it personally. Don't come down the M1 looking to put my head on a pole. For fuck's sake, get a sense of humour for Christmas, right? But if you are not insulted yet, if you have a sense of self-deprecation, then please, by all means, come back for more character assassinations and numbers 20 down to 11. And I promise you, there'll be some bloody gold nuggets in here, right?